What's up, guys? Dude, GT bats are lifeless. Yeah, it's a little tough right now. A little tough. Um, what's the score? It's 1-0 Auburn in the bottom of the sixth. Dude, Texas State is trying to sweep the season series against Texas. Hey, Texas State's always good, man. Texas State up 10-8, bottom 7. Texas State going for more. Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech just really cannot get anything going right now. The bright side is that the pitching is doing a hell of a job, but they're really struggling offensively. Good crowd at Auburn. I mean, for a midweek game, it's kind of rainy. Pretty solid crowd. Auburn's got such a great. They just got a great stadium. I love it. I'm about to take this blowout off. We're teaching these boys a lesson. Now the runners on first and second for Auburn. All right, let's see what the scores are doing today. Clemson is winning another close game, up 2-0 on Georgia in the 7th. Clemson is just, I mean, you may as well pack the bag. If it's a close game, Clemson's going to win. West Virginia got beat by Penn State. That's a kind of, Penn State's actually having a pretty good year, but that's gonna hurt West Virginia for like hosting chances and stuff like that. Coastal Carolina got beat by College of Charleston. Tennessee dominated Lipscomb. Florida State won handedly against Stetson. Look at Stetson, 16-2 in the Atlantic Sun. Yikes. Dominating their conference. Kentucky beat Louisville 17-5. Did you see Max Williams got ejected for FSU? He's going to miss the first two games against Louisville? No, I didn't. What did he do? Alabama's tied with Samford in the bottom of the 7. Middle Tennessee is beating Vandy 5-3. Troy barely beat Alabama State. Or actually barely beating. It's top of the 8th. Wait. Ole Miss? Wait, Ole Miss is playing Mississippi State? Am I missing something? Can you guys explain to me how Ole Miss is playing Mississippi State on a Tuesday night? And McNeese State got beat by an NAIA school? Yeah, I saw that. Can someone, Zach, can you explain to me how Ole Miss is playing Mississippi State on a Tuesday night? I just want to know. I'm confused. Is that like a... Like, what's going on? Why is Mississippi State playing Ole Miss on a Tuesday? Texas is losing to Texas State 9-8. They do that every year? Yeah, but don't they have to play them in a weekend series? Like they're both... I gotta pull this up now. All right, let's see here. Wait, so they play Mississippi State. Hold up. They play Mississippi State for a midweek game, and then they play them 3 weekends later for a weekend series? I mean, can anyone else back me up here? I mean, is that not the most ridiculous thing you ever heard? It's like A&M and Texas playing each other in a midweek, and then 3 weeks later playing their conference weekend series. I don't know. I think that's weird. I think that's weird. Like you're essentially playing a team. I don't know. It's weird that they're in your conference and you play them twice, I guess. Yeah, they played the Mississippi Brave Stadium. Yeah, I know. I played there, but I just don't get why. Like, there's plenty of teams they could play there that aren't in their conference. I think that's weird that they play them in a midweek game and a weekend series. Like, they technically play. Like, think about it. Like, think about it like this, Zach. This is what I'm trying to say. Is from a postseason perspective, they get one extra game against an SEC opponent, or maybe it's two. I don't know. Did they play them 2 midweeks? And so again, that's like kind of an advantage because that's a really high RPI team. I mean, it's Ole Miss. So Ole Miss is real highly ranked. So again, it's like a midweek. It's like a really great midweek, but it's a conference opponent. Like I don't get that. It's weird to me. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, you know? How is Cam Canarella projected to 33rd on MLB draft boards? He's batting 300 with 2 home runs. Yeah, I mean, Cap, I think again, he's an elite defensive center fielder. No question about it. And again, defense, especially in the outfield now, is kind of quantifiable. Although a lot of the stuff is still really inaccurate, and you guys have seen me post about that. But he's an elite defensive center fielder. I'm with you. I think the bat's got to be better. I'm not sold on the bat. Like, listen, guys, in this era of college baseball, if you've got 2 home runs at this point in the year, you have no power. Like, you don't have pop. Like, I hit 2 home runs. I was great. Okay, listen to this. I was graded out at like a 35 power on a 20/80 scale out of college. I hit 2 home runs in the dead bat era. So, I mean, they're like, you should be, even if you're like have 35, 40 grade power on a major league scale, you're probably hitting 6 to 7 to 8 home runs in this era. Again, my teammate Daniel Palka, he would have hit 40 home runs. Like, no question. He would have been 35 plus. I mean, that's how much different it is. Go look at Mississippi State's schedule last year. They did the same thing. It counts as a non-conference game. I know, but that's just weird, man. I think that's stupid. Thoughts on Kurtz getting called up so fast? I mean, he's dominated, Barks. He's dominated. I have no problem with guys that are high draft picks out of college. So, like, you're supposed to be one of the best hitters in the country, who dominate their levels. My problem is when they don't really dominate, but they have like a decent showing. And it's kind of like, oh, well, he's a first rounder and he did decent. Whereas if it was like a 10th rounder and he did the same thing, he's going up slow. Right. So I think Kurtz has deserved it. I mean, he has dominated the minor leagues. Why would an MLB team take a high school player over an SEC player hitting 350 with 20 home runs? This is why, Cap. Like, look at guys like Mike Trout. Look at guys like Carlos Correa or Francisco Lindor or Javi Baez. Like, there are, generally speaking, the rule of thumb is that like the highest ranked high school players, they're so young and they're usually tooled up out of their mind. They're higher ceiling guys. So if they reach that ceiling, they're like one of the best players in the game. And that's why when you see a lot of the best players in the game, like a Bryce Harper, and again, he graduated high school early, went to JUCO. I still consider him a high school guy. Like a lot of times, the best players in the game are high school players. But the vast majority of those first-round high school players like never make it, you know? So it's different, but you're banking on a higher ceiling and hoping they reach it. That's kind of it. Serious question to you now. That's like taking a high school QB over an SEC QB. Yeah, but I think it's different. It's a little bit different. Serious question to you now, and then I'll wait for your question, Canes. These MLB draft boards are a joke. Some of them are, for sure, Cap. Zach, they did the same thing in 2023 and 2024. It seems like they play a game in Pearl during the midweek every year. Yeah, I mean, I get it's just weird to me. I know it doesn't count as a conference game, but it's just weird that you're playing a conference opponent 4 times. I don't know. After seeing Miami and Georgia Tech up close for the first time, which team is set up for a better future after Cuvée and Burris leave the program? Well, it's hard to say, and this is what I'll say, Canes. Georgia Tech's lineup, besides Kyle Lodies, are all returning next year. So Georgia Tech's lineup will be elite again. It'll be one of the best offenses in the country, probably even better because you have guys like Caleb Daniel, Alex Hernandez, like freshmen that are getting serious playing time. That will be better next year, right? And James Ramsey's proved that. Like every year, his hitters get better. So Georgia Tech's lineup is going to be much better. Georgia Tech's pitching staff will still have their Friday night guy. You may have Brady Jones. I'm not sure where his eligibility is at. Patel will be gone. And then on Sunday, I believe you'll have Caden Spivey back. But so I think Georgia Tech's pitching, what the question for Georgia Tech's pitching is their starting pitching will be good again, or at least solid with what it is. You're going to have some young bullpen arms step up or get some transfer portal guys. I think Miami's also set up well because you have some young pitchers that are actually doing really well. The question is, can you bring in some offensive guys? That's my thing. No wonder so many MLB teams miss on prospects. What are your thoughts on Kylie McDaniel? Those are my thoughts. Again, I have no problem. I mean, I disagree with a lot of stuff he says. Again, man, I mean, we've elevated some of these people. I know Kylie McDaniel he scouted a little bit and stuff, but like, you know, there's guys with years and decades of experience, and like Kylie McDaniel's the guy we're trusting for like the draft boards. I mean, that's my take. I'm not for him or against him. I just disagree with a lot of the stuff he puts out. You know, man, Georgia Tech's lineup is looking bad. Wow. You're deciding high ceiling high school versus high floor college. Exactly. And don't get me wrong, you do have college players that come up that end up just kind of peaking later, and all of a sudden you realize they have a super high ceiling as well. That's why there's the majority of American-born players are college players that are in the big leagues. But the high school guys are usually guys that have the highest upside. Buck's exactly right. I noticed Georgia Tech has only 3 home runs between their first baseman and third baseman. Yeah, that is one part. Again, Carson Curse he's really good defensively. I think he probably moves to shortstop next year when Lodies is gone, and then you can have like a more traditional power hitting third baseman at third if you have a guy there. But it is weird, and you have to remember Kent Schmidt has been out for over a month, and he had 2 home runs through a decent amount of games. He might have got to 10, which would be low for a first baseman. And then Giesler was coming back off injury. He was slow to start, but he's playing better now. The question is more for after the 26th draft, which would be JD's 4th year and Ramsey's 2nd year as a coach. That's hard to say. It's hard to say that, Canes, because now with the era of transfer portal and everything, it's just way harder to predict what a team's going to look like because you can't just go off of their high school class. How a hitter pulls the trigger on that strikeout by Giesler there, how you even check swing on a fastball that starts up out of the zone and about 6 inches off the plate is unbelievable. mean, they are struggling offensively, man. They can't get anybody on base. And they're just chasing pitches out of the zone. Middle Tennessee beat Vandy 5-3. Yeah. Western Illinois 7-2 over at-large Iowa. That's going to be tough for Iowa. But again, Iowa can control its fate because they face what? Oregon State and Oregon at the end. How do you compare the ceiling on an elite SEC, ACC player versus a high school player? Well, here's the thing, Cap. When you draft a high school guy, let's say he turns out to be an elite player, a first-round pick. Mike Trout makes it to the big leagues at 19. Well, a college player, he's like ending his freshman year or going into his sophomore year, right? So you have way more. If you draft an elite player out of high school, you got all of his prime years. If you lock him down, but you have 6 years of his prime at minimum. With a college guy, let's say a college guy gets to the big leagues at 24 or 25. You don't have as much of his prime years because typically for a hitter, like once you hit 30, yeah, they start looking at you like he's kind of aging. He's aging. He's losing a step, whatever. So high school player, you're going to get him in his prime years if he gets to the big leagues quick. And again, there's not many of those guys. That's the issue with high school players. You really just never know what you're going to get. But the ceiling of like an elite SEC, ACC player is like a Drew Burress. Let's look at Drew Burress. Ceiling for Drew Burress is about as high as it can get. But he's going to be older. You know, if Drew Burress had gone pro, there's a good chance he could have been close to the big leagues right now. Now, next year after the draft, he may get to the big leagues pretty quick, but that's a year or two less than he would have had in the big leagues if he had gone out of high school. So, like, you're getting them a little bit earlier if they actually are what you think they are. When do you start getting worried about Georgia Tech's offense? I think you're not worried about it. Like, these things happen. But what you're worried about, I think at some point they're going to come back. You really just need one big inning, right? You need somebody to start an inning, put up 3 or 4 runs in an inning, and then you feel like you're back. What you're worried about is the offensive drought going to last too long to where they lose out on being a host? Okay, now I understand. Thank you. Yeah, no problem, Cap. Zach, Tigers picking Max Clark over Wyatt Langford is the perfect example. Do you think Clark will ever be better hitter than Langford? I don't know. I mean, I think Clark has done really well for his age. I like his walk rate, strikeout rate. He's not hitting for a whole lot of power yet, but again, he's a young high school player. He's got plenty of time to grow into that and to develop that. I'd rather see him hit for average early and then start figuring out how to kind of leverage his power in the right counts and the right situations. So I think Clark, I think Clark could end up being a solid player. I just don't, from what I've seen so far, unless he has like a massive change in his production. And again, he's young, right? He's got plenty of time. And sometimes high school guys do take a little bit longer. I don't know. Dylan Cruz is a good example. Super elite SEC hitter, one of the best in the generation, has gotten to the show now, but is not yet an elite hitter there. Yeah. And he wasn't even elite in the minor leagues, right? For a guy that got drafted as high as he did, he really didn't perform that crazy. Like, it was pretty above average, but nothing special. And he got to the big leagues. And if he was a guy drafted in the 8th round or the 9th round, he's probably still in the minor leagues. So yeah, you're right, Buck. I mean, Dylan Cruz, it was like can't miss guy, and he's been okay, but that's about it. The best prep players in Atlanta area want to go to Georgia Tech. The best players in Miami area don't necessarily want to go to UM. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And again, what Miami's got to do is they just got to win, right? And that's difficult. But when you win, people want to go. People want to go to where you're at. But Danny's right that in the state of Georgia, you have and like even James Ramsey will tell you this, like you have certain players that like they grew up rooting for Georgia their whole life. They're Georgia fans. Like they're going to commit to Georgia. But for a long time, if they weren't like a Georgia guy growing up, like they were probably going to Georgia Tech. Now that's changed with Wes Johnson, I think some, because Georgia's now, a national power in baseball. At least the last, his first 2 years under with the gig. But Georgia Tech has always won a lot of the Atlanta area kids. The perfect test example, Kyle and Cap, is testing. Gosh, I'm falling behind again on chats. Is testing the 2020 COVID draft and comparing it to the 2022-2023 draft, and where those high school guys are currently compared to the guys that went to college due to the draft being 5 rounds. Yeah. Wyatt Langford has 20 home runs in the majors. Clark has 13 between between A ball and high. Yeah, but it's different, right, Zach? Because Wyatt Langford was supposed to get to the big leagues fast and start kind of playing, right? Clark, no one expected Clark to make it to the big leagues in a year or two, right? You never expect that of a high school guy. Very rarely do high school guys do that, but he could get to the big leagues in a year or two from now, and who knows what he could end up being. They all want to go to Miami, Danny Burke. Problem is, one school costs $5,000, the other costs with the Hope Scholarship, and one school costs $40,000. I can't. The comments are going so fast I can't even read. Jeez, you guys are killing me. And $65K with a 25% scholarship. Holy cow, guys. Canes, how about Manny Marine? Yep. They got to get rid of the hit by pitch that barely grazes the jersey. Yeah, I don't disagree. Oh my gosh. How does that happen? He was committed and flipped because he was scared of competition. He was scared of Adrian Santana. I would love to know the percentage of high school prospects drafted who play in the majors 3 years or more versus college draft picks who play 3 years or more. I can tell you that the high school prospects are going to be lower. He was scared of Adrian Santana, who went first round of the Rays. That is from multiple big-time coaches down here. I mean, that happens a lot. You guys would be surprised how often that happens, where like a player decommits because he thinks, well, if this guy gets to campus, they're going to play him, instead of just like trusting that they can win a job. Man, I'll tell you what, man. If you told me 2 weeks ago Georgia Tech would be getting shut out and losing 1-0 in the 7th inning, going into the 8th inning, I'd be like, no way. But yeah, I mean, the offense is so cold right now, and this is the time for Georgia Tech when your offense is really cold. You get a leadoff runner on, like, bunt him over, get him in scoring position. Like, if your offense isn't stringing together a bunch of hits, you got to find a different way to manufacture runs. You got to steal second. You got to bunt him over. You got to do something. Did they ever make a ruling on JUCO if it won't count towards eligibility? I may have missed it. No, they haven't yet, but I think they are going to push. If the House settlement gets agreed to and pushed through, they're going to talk about the 5-year eligibility. So I think that will be the ruling, that they'll just give everybody 5 years of eligibility, and like that'll apply for JUCO. So if you go JUCO 1 year, you still got 4 years of eligibility in D1, but we have to wait and see. Kyle, if you were a high school star right now being recruited by top 25 colleges and MLB, what would your cutoff bonus slot be to forego college? I'll tell you what my dad told me. What my dad told me was anything over $250,000. So, I mean, but it's different now because there's way more money involved in the draft, so it'd probably have to be higher than that. I would say probably like 500,000 or more. Like, that's hard to turn down. But now in college is different because you can make, if you're going to a top 25 school with NIL money, you can make 500,000 in a career just in college. So it's even harder for that decision, because if you're going to a top program, you're going to be getting serious NIL money. And so it's a little bit different now. But I mean, certainly when you start getting close to $1 million, it's hard to turn that down, because that's life-changing money. Like, you invest that. If you're 18 and signed for $1 million and you're smart with your money and you invest that, you're set up for life. You're going to have so many years of compounding interest on that, and you don't touch it. Like, it's just, again, it's like having that money in the bank. Like, you can't beat that. That is nothing. Yeah, I know. I know. That's what my dad told me. That was what he thought was would be worth turning down and going to college. My mom would probably have disagreed. That may be my dad being the GM and signability guy. Hey, that was a terrible called third strike on Auburn. Yeah, it was. It was. It was off the plate. 250K is only 366K today. When you were in the draft in 2010 in high school, yeah. Yeah, it's different now, man. It's different because you can make money in college now. So it's a totally different thing. That ball was off the plate. Yeah, 100%. It definitely was. It's only the third, but we're down 2-1 to GCU. Got a feeling we're going to lose. Man, it's the third inning. Relax, John. You got plenty of time. Now, when you get to the excuse me, when you get to the top of the eighth, like Georgia Tech is, and you're down 1-0, that's when you start getting the feeling you're going to lose. Let me text my boy Dusty, make sure he knows we're live. He's going to get mad at me if I don't. I got to text Dusty and tell him. Oh my gosh, what was this? Did I just miss, like, was that a bunt attempt? Did you make more than 250K in your minor league career total earnings? No. That was a swinging bunt. I mean, I signed for 150. So that was my signing bonus. And then back then in the minor leagues, you made literally nothing. They make more now, but it's still not a lot. But I think they make more than double what I was making. But then as a minor league free agent, I was making $20,000 a month, but that was for only a few months. So, like, in total, I probably made, if you include my signing bonus, over 200,000. But you have to remember that's over the course of like 7 years. So it's not as the number sounds bigger than it really is. But right, no student debt, got my degree, 100%. You know. Nathaniel Coupe with the pinch hit. Our boy Coupe pinch hit here in the top of the eighth. But yeah, swinging bunt to the catcher. Zach, swinging bunt. Oh, that's not what you're looking for. Who was that? Who was that hitting? It wasn't Alex Hernandez. It was number 9. It was 8-hole. I don't know who it was. Oh, and now you lose. Now you got 2 outs with your leadoff hitter coming up. Looks like Texas is going to survive. I think your degree and the cash over time was worth more than the short-term cash. Maybe. That 250K would have been gone in 6 months on a house, other things, etc. Oh, well, for sure. Like if you were buying a house, but if you're investing it, you know, it's still that could make you a lot of money over like a long-term stretch. Schaus, okay. GT's lineup desperately needs Schmidt back. Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like that. The O2 hitters meeting. Here we go. Take the education, the money will come. Oh, 100%. Coop struggling. Well, he's getting, man, it's tough. I mean, he's getting kind of, again, spot starts, like a pinch hit here and there. Like, pinch hitting is the hardest thing to do in baseball. Hardest thing. Uh, so I think Coupe's done really well for the amount of at bats he's gotten and how kind of spread out they've been. He's done a great job. Like we just are swinging at pitches out of the zone 0-2, and the guy's throwing 90 miles an hour. I don't get it, man. Oh, on a juiced gun too. So like 15 years ago, he's probably throwing like 87, 88. That 0-2 meeting didn't do much. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't. Um, again, I don't get like when the guy's throwing like 95 plus, you're gonna see chases up out of the zone like that. But when the guy's throwing like when the guy's throwing like 90 with these guns, so he's throwing like 88, and it's like at your neck up out of the zone. I don't know how that. I don't know how that. I don't know how that happens. Just to be honest, if the offensive performance continues, is that going to hurt James Ramsey's chances? Well, I think if it like, we'll say it like this. I hate even saying this, but if you just see like a catastrophic like ending to this season for Georgia Tech, it probably would. I don't foresee that happening. I think it's just a bad stretch Georgia Tech's going through, but it's certainly like it's if it continues any longer, like if it continues into this weekend, like they may be out of a hosting opportunity, which would be really unfortunate. And now they're showing the walk off in the regional against Georgia Tech. Oh, that's that man. The Auburn broadcast is really SEC broadcast really rubbing it in. If Kyle wanted a job at Georgia Tech, they would find him one. Not baseball related, but that is what the degree in playing baseball at a school gets you, especially if you were a good player. I know at Miami that is how it is. Police, trainers, everything is former players. Yeah, that's probably true. 2 hits for Georgia Tech through 8 innings. Holy cow, man. I mean, and this lefty throwing is like stock lefty, 88 to 90, and it's like sliders okay. They're just not seeing the ball well. I mean, and it's the thing that's bad for Georgia Tech is like, again, usually throughout the season, you'll have a couple guys in the lineup that go cold for 3 or 4 games. Their entire lineup has gone cold for like 6 games. If Kyle holds the all-time hits in a season record with dead bat and balls, he should be baseball. He should be in the baseball program. Well, I'll say it like this: since the bats were changed, no one's had more hits in a season than me. And again, now it's kind of back to the old era. So I'm assuming that will get broken at some point because it's not the same. It's not even the same game anymore. I showed you guys the numbers. Like we had one of the best power hitting teams in the country, and we had like 53 home runs. Like that gets destroyed now. But yeah, I had 98 hits my junior year, and no one's gone above that since I left. And before me, the guy with the highest hits in a season before me was Charlie Blackmon. Unfortunately, since Miami is hot, Josh Elander won't be the coach, and Kyle won't be joining the staff. Canes, you're ridiculous, man. Of course, they have a former Auburn pitcher calling the game. I'm sure he's not biased. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, you got to give a credit to Georgia Tech's pitching staff. I mean, they're pitching as good as they possibly can. They're just begging for runs in the dugout right now, probably. I will still put in a good word with JD and the staff to somehow find a way to add Kyle to our organization. Thanks, Canes. Appreciate it, man. Double play? Double play. Okay. Well, here we go. Top 9. Can we find a way to tie the game, right? And now this is one of those situations, guys. I swear to God, if Georgia Tech gets a runner on third with less than 2 outs and we do not bunt him in to score, I'm gonna panic. I need Kyle to funnel players to Miami and Georgia Tech. All right. We can do that. Charlie Blackmon, my favorite player of all time. Pitcher converted to hitter. Damn, Kyle, you should have been in the MLB. Yeah, I probably should have. Just to be honest, Cap, but unfortunately, the front office that was involved with Milwaukee did not value me because I didn't hit for a whole lot of power. Again, remember the guys that were thought to be better than me were Brett Phillips, Lewis Brinson, Ryan Cordell. None of them did anything. And I was basically a 300 career hitter my whole career until like my last 2 years when I was basically playing a little bit more than half the games. Liked your video on Jake Mangum. Saw him play in the Tallahassee Regional. Dude can hit. Yeah. Yeah, again, he just knows how to hit, right? There's guys, and I would include myself in that category, guys that just hit no matter where they're at. So I hope Mangum does well, man, because I think that type of player needs to be back in the big leagues more consistently. Drew Burris leading off. Hey, we got a chance, man. Trivia question for the night. What is the only ACC team that was in the SEC? Georgia Tech. Buck, come on, man. You think you can get me with that? Come on, dude. Blackman could hit in his sleep. Yeah, man, he really could. Great guy, too. I saw him talk to him for a little bit like 3 weeks ago when Georgia Tech was playing Clemson, and it was Danny Hall had announced his retirement, so all the former players had gone to the game to kind of honor him. Charlie was there. I talked to him for a while. Charlie was always great to me, man. I didn't play with him, but he always kept up with Georgia Tech and always would, like, in the offseason when he was back, he would be like, Kyle, man, you had a hell of a year last year. Like, keep doing your thing. Awesome guy. Just awesome human being. Kyle can be like Andrew Moran for the basketball program, co-director of player development. Moran was our high school coach, and now at Miami, he still runs Miami Hoops School and the number one AAU team in the nation. So we can have Kyle in the same role while he is still an advisor and owner of ESA. That's how you really funnel players, baby. I don't know. I think that would be a violation of some kind for recruiting. All right. We're locked into the game now, guys. It is 9th inning. Rubber meets the road. Burris is 1 for 3. He's one guy that's kind of bat's still been kind of alive. 2-0 count. Can't make again 2-0 count here. We need you on base. If you're going to swing at a pitch, you got to crush it. Good take, bottom of the zone there, maybe a little bit down. Stephen Kwan is batting 341. Why wouldn't you want hitters like Kwan and Mangum at the top of your lineup? Yeah, I agree. And what's funny about Stephen Kwan is, like, he never hit for that much power, but he's talked about, I'm adding some power. And I've told you guys that, like, with high bat to ball skill guys, they can make slight swing adjustments to add power. It's much harder for guys that hit for power but can't hit to learn how to hit. It's way more difficult. Oh, the 3-1 pitch, Burris. It's at your eyes, man. Oh my gosh. 3-1, man. And I think that's what we're seeing with Georgia Tech's lineup. It's like you swing at a 3-1, ball 4, out of the hand, and you just put yourself in a 3-2 count. And then you take a foul. What is going on, man? You swing at ball 4 and then you take a strike? Like inner third. It's not a bad pitch to hit. I don't even know how you take it. He thought he was getting breaking ball, I think. I think he was guessing breaking ball. That's the only thing I can think. Which you never guess 3-2. You never guess 3-2, guys. Oh. You think so, right? I thought the same, but this man is somehow still running the Knight Riders AAU team in his Hoops Academy that trains high school and NBA players. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you're right, Canes. I don't know. That seems like that would be a violation. I don't know. Because you want Lindor at the top of your lineup. Yeah. That Texas A&M virus has moved to Atlanta. God, I hope not. I mean, this guy's command. I mean, it's just a bad at bat by Burris. I mean, 2 pitches in a row, just terrible swing decisions. You swing at a pitch at your neck, 3-1. That's an easy ball 4 take. And then you just take a pitch like bell tie middle in. Oh, man. Now I feel what Canes and Zach were feeling at the beginning of the middle stretch of the year. All right, 3-1 count. 3-1 count. Like this is the thing that really is aggravating is Burris would have walked and Caleb Daniel ends up walking here. Then you can, you got a lot of stuff. You got Alex Hernandez coming up. I'm assuming this guy is a back end arm. He's going to be slow to the plate. You can steal third. Okay, we got it. All right, base runner on. Tying run is on the play. Tying run is on base. Lots of complaining to the ump. Yeah, I mean that's something you notice with this younger generation is, and it's not just about complaining to the umpire. It's like a visual way for them to tell their coach that, oh, this umpire is calling bad pitches. When in reality, I tell my high school hitters, I said, you guys think the strike zone is that rectangle you see on Major League Baseball? That's not the strike zone. The strike zone is what the umpire calls a strike. So in the 7th inning, I don't want to hear that he's been calling it off the plate all night. Yeah, get on top of the plate, make an adjustment. Now we're going to have a meeting of the minds. I don't think we can try to run here. Caleb Daniel does not run very well. For a guy that looks like Caleb Daniel, he looks like a guy that would be like a plus runner. He's not. But if the pitcher's really slow to the plate, like it's probably worth taking the risk with how Georgia Tech's lineup is hitting. But you got your best freshman hitter at the plate right now, as far as OPS and everything. See if he can come through big. It's really important though for Alex Hernandez here, and I hope this was said in the meeting. Like this guy should have walked the first 2 hitters of the inning. So you can't just make a bad first pitch out here. Like if you're gonna swing first pitch, you gotta crush it. Because he's been out of the zone. I just put the game on. Pinch runner? No pinch runner. I think it'd be worth it, Buck, just to be honest. Oh, gosh. All right, let's go. Come on. 0-2. 0-2. Let it get deep. Fight it. Win the inside part of the pitch. Fight off the fastball. Wait for a hanging breaking ball. Fight off the fastball. Swings first pitch, backup curveball. Yeah. Oh. Way too big a swing there. Had no chance catching up to that. Seems like a lot of Georgia Tech hitters are getting down 0-2, 1-2. Happened a lot against Miami. Yeah. Are they going to make a pinch run now? They are. They're pinch running. Cooper McMullen. Yeah, I mean, just swing 95 right down the middle, and his path is so vertical, he just can't get up to it. Instead of just going straight to the pitch to fight it off, he's trying to. Now a pinch runner, yeah. And then we're late on a fastball. I mean, you can't be late. You're 0-0. If you're hunting fastball, you can't be late. You can't be scared of looking bad against a breaking ball in this situation. If it looks good out of the hand, you got to be ready to time it up. What did I say about so many college hitters swing and miss a fastball down the middle? Yeah. Well, I don't know the point of the pinch run if he's not stealing, you know. Oh boy. Oh boy, not just college, but I see so many JUCO and high school hitters that swing and miss so much at fastballs. Yeah. Dude, I mean, velocity is a thing, man. And again, you see that, but all you see in college and even you see it a lot in high school now is guys just like throwing a bunch off speed. All right, one of our other guys with one of our 2 hits this week or this game, so say a prayer. I just don't get that swing there. I just don't get that swing. Like, just take it. It's so obvious. It was just like swinging to swing. There was no intent behind that swing at all. And it's off the plate. It's a ball. Oh man. Gets jammed on a slider. Gets jammed on a slider. Swing first pitch curveball off the plate, and then gets jammed by a slider or a curveball. Big loss, truly. Yep. 2 hits, one error on the night. Is that I mean, Auburn had 5 hits. Was the 1 error the cause of the? Was 1 error the cause of Advil time or NyQuil time? Oh man! Wow. Okay. Actually, I can check let me check the score here, the box score. All right, it was 1 earned run. Payton had 5 walks in 1 2/3, but somehow only gave up 1 earned run. And then the bullpen gave up 0 runs the rest of the way. Carson Ballard threw 3 innings, who I've said all along I think is best suited as a starter. I think his stuff will play better as a starter. Went 3 innings, 3 hits, no runs. The bullpen was lights out. The bullpen walked 1 guy in 6 and 1/3 innings. They walked 1 guy. Clemson wins 3-0. I keep watching and wondering how they win, but they keep doing it. Somehow they'll screw up in the Super Regional again. Would like to see them in Omaha. Yeah, what the feeling is that when you're winning, like every game is a close game. At some point, they're going to start going the wrong direction for you. You know, so I get your feeling, Buck, because I think the same thing. You watch them, and just offensively, they're not crazy talented, but their pitching's really good. And they just find a way to win. They find a way to be on the right side of 1-run games and 2-run games. Such a non-competitive at bat. Yeah, Zach, I mean, you could say that, right? I mean, listen, that Burris at bat set the tone for the inning, right? It should have been a walk. Then Caleb Daniel walks. And then you have Alex Hernandez up. You can do, maybe you feel like you let him swing. Maybe you don't. But then Von Lackey gets hit by a pitch. Then you're talking bases loaded, 1 out, right? So that at bat kind of messed up the whole inning. Texas State up 11-10, bottom 8. Texas State is the home team. Going to the 9th, can Texas State hold the lead? That is the question. Northwestern State up 7-2 on LSU in the fourth. All right, let's look. Let's go to this Texas State game. See how they finish, and then we'll probably call it a night. I do not want to see the. I don't want to read the comments in the Georgia Tech final score tweet. Eight runs in 5 games. What the heck happened? Georgia Tech has scored 8 runs in the last 5 games. Yikes. Kyle in the ACC and minors, what did you see more of? Super talented guys who rose the ranks, or the hard workers, or both? It's both, but generally anybody who makes it is a hard worker. There's not many guys you see that get up to the upper levels of the minor leagues or the big leagues that aren't hard workers. Generally, what the difference is are the guys who can really control the mental side of the game. Those are the guys that, if you work hard, you got a good mental grasp of the game, and you can handle failure, you're going to have a chance to have success. What separates a lot of guys in the minor leagues is you're playing every day. So when you're struggling, it's every day. You don't have like 2 days off from Tuesday to Friday to figure something out. You don't have a day off Monday to figure it out for the midweek. And you don't have like an easier competition in the midweek to see if you can jumpstart. Every day you're grinding. If you're struggling, it's brutal mentally. And the guys that can kind of be like, you know what? Yeah, it sucks right now, but I'm going to break out of it. Those guys have success. Donde está Dusty? I don't know. When I texted him, he said it's 10:30. I think that was his way of saying it's too late. From Professor Rosenthal. If you like me were wondering why Ole Miss and Mississippi State are playing a midweek game, it's called the Governor's Cup. They play a non-conference midweek matchup every year in April. Typically played in the state capital as well, so it gives people who don't normally go to games in Starkville or Oxford the chance to see them play. I still think it's weird. Texas State bringing in a weekend starter to close it out. Yeah. Oof. Six-two blowout. Texas State, Texas, Canes. Texas has a runner on with no outs. Pitching is the scariest position in sports right now. You can be elite and train like a beast, but the injury cloud is always over your head, almost inevitable. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, we're never again, unless things change, we're never going to see a guy, throw 200 innings a year. Unless it's like one of the old guys now that's done it before. We're never going to see that. These guys have more injuries than ever before. Even if it's not like a Tommy John UCL thing, they got to sit out for 4 starts because of an aggravation or something. You're exactly right, Cap. How many times do you see a pitcher give up a leadoff walk when he's up 1 in the ninth? Seems like it happens all the time in college. You know what leadoff walks tend to be in college, Zach? Run scored. The FSU UVA cancellation this week really hurt the Cavs because their RPIs in the 90s and it would have helped their strength of schedule. 100%, Rosenthal. 100%. You're exactly right. Obviously, it was terrible what happened at FSU, but it's UVA is that really hurt UVA's chances because you're exactly right. RPI in the 90s, strength of schedule. Like if they could have pulled off a weekend upset, that would have put them in a really good position. Oh my, and look what's going on for Texas right now. There's Professor Rosenthal. LSU also losing at home. Yep. Now the question is this: does Texas bunt the runners over at second and third with no outs? What do they do? Like a nice little swinging dribbler to the third. It would have been a close play at first. He might not even have got him out, though. That's the thing. Because he was getting down the line quick. Texas got the first two on without leaving the infield. Yeah, that's tough. Texas State has beaten Texas A&M, Texas, and maybe Texas again. Yeah, well, that's a big maybe now. It's a big maybe. Big maybe now. All right, 2-2 count. 2-2 count. You can't put this on the ground, man. This is the thing with this in this situation as a hitter, even with 2 strikes, you have to be telling yourself, I got to fight, but I got to hit the bottom half of the baseball. I cannot ground into a double play here. Ooh, Texas steals. No one's covering. Oh. My gosh. No one was covering second. I've never understood this. Okay? Because the rule of thumb in baseball, this is something I don't agree with, is that when the double steal happens, you always throw to second. Well, the runner at first should have a massive lead because the first baseman's not holding him on, and he should just be watching the guy at second for a steal. You're just going when he goes. So you should be even more safe than the runner at second to third base. Kyle, I would like to hear you hypothetically outline how you would build a program and team over 5 years if you were a head coach for a top 25 program. I think you recruit guys that can hit. In this era, like again, if there's guys with power that fit that, but you recruit 4 or 5 guys that can really hit. They're going to hit for power in this era. They're going to hit 10 home runs if they have any kind of power at all. But you need those guys in the lineup that are just going to hit. And then you get a few power guys. You get a speed guy or two. And so you have a dynamic offense where you don't just have to hit the ball at the ballpark. You don't just have to bunt every inning, but you have different ways you can attack a pitching staff. And based on the game situation, what the score is, you can do different things to score runs. Pitching wise, you need guys that throw strikes. Get projectable guys that throw strikes. You get the best, like you try to get the best players you can, but if you have a bunch of dudes that can throw strikes, you're going to be okay. And the same thing is true with hitting. If you may not hit for the most home runs in the country, but if your team's hitting 330 as a team, you're going to be okay. Texas has only 300 hitters in their lineup. Let's see their. Let me pull it up. Gotta love that pimped walk right there. Why can't you just drop your bat and go? I mean, it's just like unbelievable. Pimp and walks, man. Yeah, so Texas as an offense is hitting 291. Like the average is not there. But they have 96 doubles, they have 60 home runs. So like they're hitting enough and they're driving the baseball. Like that's the other thing is like if you're not driving the baseball, you better hit. And you probably need to be aggressive on the base paths. If you are driving the baseball, you don't need to hit for as high an average, but you'd like to have a little bit of both. I think if one thing you look at Texas's offense is there's not one guy with like a bunch of home runs. They all have like 4, 11, 6, 6, 9, 11, 6, right? So like they just have a bunch of guys that are all hitting like a solid amount of home runs. Have you read anything new on motor preferences? Seems like Maryland and French company are gatekeeping the data and training details. I'm about to be making more videos on it soon, Cap. So we'll get into it. Bases loaded for Texas State. Now, I think they're going to have corners in, middle infield back, double play depth. Because here, in this situation, bases loaded, no outs. Ground, you don't play infield in. You concede a tying run in an effort to not give up the go-ahead run, but then that was just blasted to left center for a grand slam. That's tough. That is tough. But credit Texas, man. Like, they put the ball in play. Last hitter had a really good at-bat to work a walk. Like, they're having positive at-bats. They're not striking out. They're putting it in play. Yeah, gatekeeping just means it's not a walk-off, Buck. They are the road team. They are the away team. Oops, Texas is away. Cap, what are they gatekeeping? They are 19 and 20. They are terrible. I think it just means there's not a lot of information out about the whole motor preferences thing, and that's true. There's not. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I got to go to sleep, but I will see you guys tomorrow for another stream. Thanks for joining and being lively and talkative like you guys always are. I really appreciate you guys. You make this fun to do. I love talking to you guys. Really appreciate you guys being like as dedicated and as active as you are. Really appreciate you. And who knows, maybe in 2 years, we're going to have 10,000 people watching me. And you guys will be the ones that were here at the beginning. And I'll never forget that. Texas A&M is a monster series this weekend. Storylines write themselves. You're right. Can't wait for that. We can't wait to cover it. All right, guys.